Yo, everyone, welcome back. So I kind of have this series on my channel where I ask my subscribers for their arena gameplay. And since there's all different types of skill levels, I try to take all the different clips, put them together in a video, and I give each subscriber their own little tip in there that kind of helps them get better at the game. Now, this is just my advice. I'm going to try and point out things, sort of roast them at the same time. And I'm sure that a lot of these people in here would match up to your skill level currently. So I'm assuming that I'm going to be able to give you some advice that you can relate to. Before we hop in, help a brother out, use code KenBeans in the item shop. It helps me a ton. And yeah, let's start out with guy number 1. So I asked these subscribers for a question if they want when they submitted it. And Ty wants to know how he can win a fight against a 0 ping player. Now, I'm going to be honest, when you're versing someone like this, it's always best to be in more than one box. Now, the fight started out pretty good, but anytime you just hold the wall like this is the last thing you can do, that's probably when you're going to die. I'm going to show you real quick. Everyone should learn how to just go into creative and create 2 boxes by being directly in the center of both. This is by far one of the easiest setups to give you good time when you're fighting someone who's a sweaty player. This clip's really short. Something I wanted to point out was that a lot of times I see beginner players not really doing this a lot. If you're desperately trying to get in this guy's face like this person's doing, anytime someone edits open like this, you see how this John Wick ran behind this little stair? If you shove a wall in their face as they make edits, it probably happens a lot more than you realize. You could probably box him and then run in his face as much as you want. Starting out, a lot of players would just continue shooting, when if you go for that wall, it will be better for you. Now, my homie over here is wearing the Mr. Beast skin. He's grinding arena, I respect it, but he made a crucial mistake. Sometimes people are a little slow to think about this, but when someone's pressed up against your wall, you always want to hold it first before you go to make an edit. The second that this guy released the wall and went to go take out a shotgun, that's when the player got in his face. I would say practice holding your walls a little longer after you shoot someone and then reset. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at some of these players and a lot of people I feel like are gonna have the same problem. Even I do it sometimes, to be honest. They just spam the jump button too much and they panic too hard. Watching this fight here, you can see the second that he goes to shoot the wall, now he's in a cone. He's kind of like jittery and he jumps instead of just trying to place a build. And then a couple seconds later, he makes an edit with his juice out. At the end of the day, you hit him with a god pre-fire and got a nice kill, but it almost seems like you need more practice pressing your binds. Jumping at random times and then taking out shield in the middle of fights is definitely something that you need to practice. This is a big mistake. I see a lot of players do this all the time. Why place a floor here? If it's me, what I would do is just shoot this player and then instantly drop down and try and grab a wall on his side. Now, I'll give my man the benefit of the doubt. He is on 100 ping, so fights in general are going to be way harder. If you do fight on high ping, at least what I do is I try just to never stop moving. The rest of it is just going to come down to your mechanics and how much you practice being on that high ping. There's no special ingredient that I'm going to be able to tell you that you probably don't already know. Okay, so Dab's fighting this guy, and I see players set this up a lot, but I'm not sure why they do it from this angle. He wants to attack this wall here. You shouldn't be on the side of it like this. You need to be hugging the left side. This is such an easy edit for the guy you're versing because you're just leaving yourself completely exposed. Goose may be like one of you guys watching. He wants to know how he can counter people on 0 ping again, but sometimes it's not even about the ping. In this clip here, he's shooting and trying to pre-fire and grab the wall back, but his timing is not good because you can see when the wall breaks, he still has his shotgun out. Goose, if I were to recommend something to you, I'd tell you that you need more time mech training. Your crosshair placement looks a little shaky at times, and you're not always placing the builds in the exact spot you want. Okay, so here's a fight from one of my subs, and I know it's a little blurry. I don't know what happened to the video here, but you should never go to make edits on things when you see that the player's already leaving the box. I know this happens in a moment's notice, but anytime you have someone underneath your stair, always look to full box them first before you go to make any sort of edit. Access was asking me how he cannot waste as many mats in fights. And to be honest, I mean, I could just by looking at this, I could see that you're wasting mats just by trying to piece control areas where the enemy is not even at. Also, me personally, this edit here is something that almost never works. If I were you, I would stop doing that altogether. I have a retake video that would probably suit this exact fight. Just look up KenBeans retakes. Okay, so my guy Matt, he's fighting this guy in this box over here, right? And he's coming down at it at a really bad angle. You don't want to position yourself right here because if this guy edits, you won't have enough time to react to place 2 walls at the same time. This is just a super unoptimal way to attack the top of a box. Nevertheless, he takes his time, he heals back up, and me personally, whenever I'm 150 health, I always pop at least 1 splash. So you're coming down, you're trying to spray him from the top. All this is fine at the moment, but then you get third partied again. Now keep in mind, you have a lot of mats. Anytime you fight someone, especially when you're in the open like this, it always pays to just create 1 box to block your angles. Even if I have 200 builds, I would still create a box to try and block some spots. This guy just didn't lay off of you the entire time. Now things are going really south because there's a player on your wall. So the first thing you try and do is create more room. And the way you go about it, I can see you're full panicking in this fight. If you're a player that does something like this, you need to literally go into creative and just practice boxing up and reboxing in the different boxes. Also, you go to crank up even more, and it seems like you can work on your 90s a little bit. Gameplay sort of like this reminds me when I started playing controller about a year ago. I don't exactly know the order of the buttons I need to press, and things are just going randomly out in front of my face. There's no thought really behind it. It's just panic building. I'd be repping out Raider drills non-stop until I can do them fluently. And then I would play arena just for fun, but not often. My man over here has killed 3 people in this one box and is still fighting another player. The only thing that I could see that's wrong with this gameplay is you trying to take fights from all the way up here, especially when you don't have a cone in your box. This is one of the angles in Fortnite where I would never try and fight. Now, if I had to guess just from watching your gameplay that you're not playing on claw and you don't have paddles. I know everyone can't afford paddles or they don't even want to play claw, but I'm just letting you know that switching to one of those things would probably be a lot better for your mechs. The reason I can tell is mainly because of how choppy things are when you jump. You said that Bucky killed you at the very end and you wanted to know how to stop it, but if I were you, I mean, one of the reasons that I'd say that in the beginning was mainly because of the situation about you jumping. You're literally right here jumping, but you have to let go of your thumbstick, then you have to grab the wall, then you have to make an edit. It's a lot harder to do anything on controller when you have to let go of your thumbstick and then go to a different button. Okay, this player right here, 4,800 points. One thing I don't like to do in arena is push someone with mats like this. If the distance was closer, then I would probably look to fight this guy, but being this far away from someone, it's just the worst situation ever, because if someone does shoot you, you're dead. My homie over here is fighting someone and he goes and looks pretty good at the start. He's aggressively ramping up. He places a cone here. I like all this. You set up the wall retake the right way and everything, and you're smacking at the wall, but you just jump right in this player's box. Unless I got some massive crack, this is something I would never do in a fight. If you sat on this angle right here, the guy even reset the wall for you and everything. It was one shot. You shoot that, you grab piece control, and you're in a way better spot than just running in 50-50. Okay, so next one, Zane's moving up on high ground here, and he ramps over this guy and doesn't place cones, walls, or anything. If you do manage to find yourself in this spot right here, you instantly look to your left or to your right, place a wall, and edit out. But I'm watching this fight, your mechs look a little sloppy and you're panicking really hard. Players like this, I'd say they just need more fighting practice and more mech training. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, spending 5 million hours a day, but if you get yourself in a routine, you're gonna feel way more comfortable fighting other players. I'm not gonna lie with you, Morzen right here, I have no idea how you could not kill this guy. This is a perfect example of sitting on the corner of someone's box and just baiting them to make an edit. Absolutely textbook, and then when you went in, I'm not gonna lie, you just choked your shots. And he was 3 HP, that sucks. Here's an example of a controller player, this John Wick skin here, who is probably playing on paddles or claw. Just by his gameplay, you could see what I'm talking about. Everything is smooth and not choppy. You could see when he makes edits, it's just like smooth going up and smooth tracking. Players on claw or on paddles, they just can do more. Okay, so this player doesn't have a name, and just by watching this fight, it seems like a lot of people are struggling with just panicking. When you get shot here, you instantly box up, create 2 boxes, boom, right away, no hesitation. You left half your box open, then you went to go edit up, bring your ass over right into creative and just practice doing this. It's literally the most simple thing whenever you get shot. So this guy Fade, he got a refresh, and I guess a lot of players don't know this, but when loot's on the edge of a wall like this, you don't want to look head level and grab it. You want to hold your wall out and look vertically down and then walk over the loot. So that way you have like a better chance of placing the wall in the right spot. All this worked out for you, but against a different elevation change, I guarantee you that the wall won't place right in front of you. Okay, so we got another controller player, and I'm gonna be honest, I like watching controller players play Fortnite. Sentry's pretty confident. I can see he's fighting and just fighting aggressively. Picks up a clean little kill on that bot. And I'm watching you just fight this next guy, and you don't always have to aim down your pump every single time you shoot a player. I feel like that's a common thing that you do. He sent a bunch of clips in this one video, but you can see what I'm talking about just based off this one. If you shot this guy without aiming down, you probably would have set yourself up better to not take return damage afterwards. I don't really get why you made this window edit to set up a peek and then walk directly in front of it so the guy can shoot you afterwards. I feel like aiming down sometimes just messes you up more than you think. So we got more people just like this. You can see like the crosshair placement's just shaky. This is a good example of getting a clean kill, but I mean like the mechs, like you can use work on practicing placing builds in the right spot. Chucksy in this fight, he's doing literally all the right things to make sure he doesn't get shot on his peaks. And the only thing I could say that's going to make you better is to train going faster, because you have the right idea, but now you need the speed and you should practice working at that. And then here in this fight, it's the same player just not knowing how to create a 1x2 really quickly. Look how fast I'm able to make this build by standing in the middle and just placing all the walls around me and then doing everything quick. Compared to you doing it, you're shaking, you miss half the cones, and now this guy's in your box and you're griefed on a tree. I mean, we love trees. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Eduardo here came up with the god play when someone comes in your box. He's underneath paint the ramp like this, he makes this really weird U edit, resets it while in the air, and then confirms a window edit on the back and kills the guy. That was genius. I want to show you guys Yoda right here as he's playing. He's on console, and I know playing keyboard and mouse on console could be pretty tough. I haven't had too much experience with it, but it's definitely not the same. But nevertheless, he plays super smooth, and I feel like he has a pretty good sense for keyboard on console. It's like a snappy, satisfying crosshair placement, and that ending clip, that was pretty fire. Now, personally, I've never done this edit. It was a little rusty at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. This chop out seemed kind of scary. You built up, got this guy like half boxed, then you use a window edit, and then you get this really solid peak right there. That's really good. C-Barrel's playing box fights with this guy, and things are going a little rough for him. If you're in a situation like this, there's no reason for you to try to attack the top of his wall like this from all the way down below. It's just a super unoptimal way to go about it. If things actually feel awkward for you, which I can tell this kind of did, you're probably going about it the wrong way. Also, you want to know how to stop players from phasing in. Now, there is no true way to stop it, but you weren't even holding your wall when this guy came through. You went to go shoot him, and then that's when he came in. Whenever your wall's weak like this, you're either pre-firing them back or you're just holding your wall straight up. Don't try and go for a play when you know the wall is one shot. Guys, that wraps up all the subscribers. I have no idea how long this video is. I really hope it's not that long. I wanted to include as many people as possible. If you didn't get in, I'm sorry. If you drop a like on this video, it does well. I'll definitely do more because I have done a lot of these in the past. I want to kind of bring it back. It's been your man Ken. I hope I wasn't too mean, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.